Well, joining me now to talk about the Irish and their journey to the national championship is Tyler Horka with Blue and Gold Illustrated. Tyler, thanks for joining me, man. Let's get straight to it. Tyler, when we go back to week 2, the loss to NIU after beating Texas A&M, what changed for this team to get them to this point?
I think it was a top-down directive. It was Marcus Freeman basically saying, hey, that's not us. This can't be us. If we want to accomplish everything that we're going to accomplish this season, we've got to play better football than that, especially against that opponent. Notre Dame should have won that game. We all know it. But guess what? Notre Dame has not lost any game since then, and I think it's because Marcus Freeman has really galvanized this group. He said, we are a national championship type of team. We're going to play like a national championship type of team. And like I said, they've gone on a run here where they've won 13, 14 games in a row, and they really look like a team that can win it all.
Well, in the playoffs, Notre Dame handled IU at home, shockingly beat a tough Georgia team, and scored 24 points in the second half to beat Penn State. Is this team ready for Ohio State? You went down to the Cotton Bowl and you saw the Texas Longhorns and the Buckeyes kind of duke it out. Do they have a chance? Do the Irish have a chance?
Yeah, so going to that Cotton Bowl, I think it was kind of a scouting mission for me, obviously, but I also went to the University of Texas, so I was like, let's see if my alma mater is going to play against Notre Dame in the national championship game. Didn't turn out to be the case because I think Ohio State is that good. You look at them on film, you look at them on paper, they have NFL type of guys all over the place, and it's kind of similar to Georgia. And then you look at Penn State, Abdul Carter, and some of those other guys that the Nittany Lions threw at the Fighting Irish. They kind of controlled that game for a long time because they have that type of personnel. I think that's what Notre Dame is up against with Ohio State too, the type of personnel that can control games. And one quick thing that I want to say about their defense, only one junior on that defense. The rest are seniors or graduate seniors. So these are guys that Notre Dame saw a couple of years ago in Marcus Freeman's first game, and obviously last year when Ohio State came into South Bend and beat Notre Dame in a way that nobody in South Bend really wants to talk about.
It's hard to beat a team 3 times in a row, even though they're in 3 separate years. We heard from Marcus Freeman today. Left tackle Anthony Knapp is now out for the championship game after an ankle injury. What changes will be made with yet another big injury to this team?
Yeah, I think Notre Dame has kind of stayed the course with a lot of these injuries. Next man up. Tosh Baker was the next man up in the Orange Bowl, and he played that entire game ever since Anthony Knapp went out. But if you're a believer in Pro Football Focus grades, and I'm wishy-washy on them, I'm not sure. Sometimes I believe them, sometimes I don't. Tosh Baker was the lowest graded Notre Dame offensive player in that game. So I think you might see Charles Jagasaw switch out to left tackle. Marcus Freeman, in his press conference today, he wasn't very adamant about who's going to start for the Notre Dame offensive line. So I think that's one area to take a look at for sure.
Well, not giving away any secrets, says Marcus Freeman in today's press conference. The Irish are 10-point underdogs against Ohio State, and they've been underdog the last 2 games when they faced the Buckeyes in the regular season. But I want to transition to Notre Dame women's basketball. Tyler, you covered this team. Who are the favorites in this game today against Clemson? The Irish are 13-2 after beating Wake Forest 100-64 on Thursday. It was their 4th 100-point game this season. Tyler, you've seen what this team can do. Why is head coach Neil Ivey and her team so successful?
It's the recruiting. It's the personnel that she brings in. And I know a lot of Notre Dame women's basketball fans are a little worried that all of that personnel is going to stay healthy because we've seen so many injuries over the last couple of seasons. But when Hannah Hidalgo is healthy and on the floor, Olivia Miles is on the floor with her, you bring back Maddie Westbeld into the fold, you get these transfers in Leah Tu King and Liza Carlin, all of a sudden you're talking about from the top down a roster that can compete with anybody and beat anybody. And we've seen that in wins over USC, Texas, UConn. Like Notre Dame is beating the best of the best. They have not lost on American soil. As you guys mentioned earlier in the show, only the Cayman Islands Classic, a couple losses there. And I think UConn's Gino Oriyama said it best when he was in South Bend. You put this team on the floor at its best against anybody, and you're talking about a team that can beat anybody. This is a national championship type of team.
Well, Tyler, in so many words, you just told us that Notre Dame has a chance to not only make it to the national championship like the football team, but possibly win it as well. Let's send it back to Allison and Vahid.